Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another installment of the Friday Market Update. This is a series that we do every single Friday here on the channel where we do some technical analysis on the crypto markets, Bitcoin, and the major altcoins here in the space, and we also cover some news that's been related to the cryptocurrency space in the last week. In this week's video, we're going to be covering some news related to Facebook and their partial reverse of a ban that they had placed on cryptocurrency advertising on their platform. But before we get into all that today, guys, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, because we do cryptocurrency videos every single day. And if you're new to cryptocurrency, you're in at a great time. I highly recommend signing up for Coinbase. If you use the link in the description down below and spend over $100 in one transaction, you'll get 10 bucks for free. So go ahead and do that if you're interested. But let's get right into it. Guys, in the last 24 hours, I was in the Discord server, as I am. You guys should join down with the link in the description. I was in the Discord server talking to some guys, and we were looking at the charts, and something bad happened. Bitcoin did break out of this consolidation pattern that I was talking about yesterday. I was saying I wasn't sure how powerful this consolidation pattern was, but just a couple of hours after I posted that video, I was proven wrong. It actually did become a very important consolidation pattern here. As you can see, we broke bearish out of it, and I guess I called this. I hate being right sometimes because Bitcoin actually broke below key support at the $6,000 level, and we're trading down here around $5,900 again, as we were back over here. And this time we've been here for longer than we were this time. The fact that we've broken below $6,000 twice in the last week, considering that we've never been below $5,000 at all in the rest of 2018, this is not a good sign. We'll be talking about this more in a little bit, but first I want to talk about the markets as a whole. As we can see here, the markets are no longer as correlated as they were in the last couple of videos, although we do still see the remnants of that original drop when Bitcoin dropped all the way down to about $50. We can see that the entire market is very, very red. Bitcoin's down 3% on the 24 hours. A lot of these altcoins are down close to double-digit percentage points. Some of them are. We do see quite a lot of red here. Here on Crypto Maps, this is a website that I use sometimes. You guys, you'll probably enjoy this. Go to coin360.io and you can find this thing called the Crypto Maps, and this shows all the different cryptocurrencies and whether they're up or down. And as you can see, basically the entire screen is red because the entire cryptocurrency market is red right now. Ethereum's down 5%, Bitcoin's down 3%, BCH is down 5.5%, XRP is down about the same, Lumens is down 7%. Pretty much the entire cryptocurrency market is very, very red, and there are a couple things to take into account with this. The first thing that we want to talk about is the overall market cap of cryptocurrency. It's actually dropped below key support at $250 billion. This is a level that we had held on back in early April when Bitcoin and cryptocurrency initially pulled back to right around that $6,500 region on Bitcoin and some more recent lows on the altcoins. But the entire cryptocurrency space pulled back to about $250 billion in market capitalization here. There's a level around here somewhere. I don't know if I can find it. There it is, at almost exactly $250 billion. This is where we pulled back to, and now we've actually pulled back even further. We're below $250 billion in market capitalization when that used to be Bitcoin's market capitalization. One thing to keep in mind about Bitcoin's market capitalization is that we're very, very close to another key level of support, which is $100 billion in Bitcoin's market capitalization. As we can see here, Ethereum's at $40 billion. That's a key level for Ethereum, and $100 billion for Bitcoin is another key level. We want to make sure that Bitcoin stays above $100 billion level of support, and right now that really seems to be the only support holding us up because the very, very important level of $6,000 was broken. And I made a video a couple days ago. You can watch it up here in the top right where I said that would probably happen, but I still didn't want to believe it. But we have broken below it, and we do have a close on the daily chart with a daily candle. Sorry about that. With the daily candle below $6,000. As we can see here, if we zoom out on the chart on the 1 day, you can see that we actually closed yesterday below $6,000. I talked about in the last couple of videos how this little wicks that we saw down here to a 57.50 was not a definitive break of $6,000 because we didn't actually close the daily candle below it. But now we have closed the daily candle below it, which is not a good thing at all. I talked about this divergence between Bitcoin's price action and its RSI also, and how that could potentially signal a reversal. It doesn't look like we're going to be getting that, at least not yet. We could be very close to the bottom. It could be that $6,000 is not an extremely important level, and that $5,500 may be where we pull back. But at this point, now that we've actually broken bearish below $6,000, I expect that we probably will see at least a $5,500 Bitcoin when we see support down here on this little wicks right here, or just straight up $5,000. $5,000 would be a very strong level of support. It's a nicer number than 6,000, to be totally honest. Like 20,000, that's a nice number. 10,000, that's a nice number. 5,000, that's a nice number. 6,000 is just kind of random. $5,000 is probably where this market is going to be going, unless we can get some kind of reversal, unless we can get some kind of trend reversal, unless we can break this downtrend. There's a lot of things that could cause that to not actually happen, but unless some of these things actually do happen, we probably are going to see Bitcoin retrace back to $5,000, which, as I was talking about earlier, would be a breach of $100 billion for Bitcoin. And guys, I made a video a couple days ago, watch it up here if you haven't already, where I was talking about why you shouldn't be upset about this, why you shouldn't be worried about it. I'm talking about it as if I'm worried about it, and there's a good reason for that I'll explain in a second. But guys, I don't want you guys to be upset about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency retracing, because that's not the way that you should, that's just not the way you make money in these markets. The way that you make money in these markets is you buy low and you sell high, which means that it's just as important for the price to go down as it is important for the price to go up. When Bitcoin was mooning back here in $20,000 to $20,000, everybody wanted to get into Bitcoin. But they wanted to get into Bitcoin because they were new to investing. You don't want to get into Bitcoin at this point right here. This is the point where you want to be getting out of Bitcoin. The smart people got into Bitcoin back here when a lot of you guys were just starting to hear about Bitcoin. Some of the older people in the channel were starting to hear about Bitcoin a year and a half, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever. That's when you want to get back into Bitcoin. You want to get into Bitcoin when no one's talking about it, when everybody's freaking out about it, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Now is a good time to be getting a long-term position in Bitcoin if you believe in the fundamentals, if you believe in the technology, as I do. I think now is a phenomenal time to get into Bitcoin. I'll be talking about that more in tomorrow's video. Let's do just a little bit more technical analysis on this, and we're going to move on to some of the altcoins. I'm not going to cover as many altcoins as normal because a lot of them are just, they look exactly the same. There's just not a point. But one thing that I wanted to talk about, of course, is this downtrend that I mentioned in a recent video, where we have a pivot point up here, a set point here for the downtrend. If you don't know what I'm talking about with pivot points and set points, I have a tutorial video on trend lines. If you're not familiar with them, or if you want to brush up on them, you can watch that in the top right. But we do have a set point here. We have a couple of confirmations here, and we need to get above this downtrend of resistance. As you can see, we are below it currently. If we just keep trading sideways for about a week, we'll break it, but that's what's leading me to believe that we probably are about to see Bitcoin return to lower lows. Another thing that we talked about in another video is how Bitcoin has come down here to this 30 level on the RSI 3 times in the last month. That's not something that you normally see. In all of 2018, we'd only seen Bitcoin go back to 30 on the RSI 2 other times. And each other time we saw a major rally. So we're starting to break down some of these trends that have been permeating the Bitcoin space over the last couple of years. And one of the major ones is that when Bitcoin's RSI, when its daily RSI retraces to 30, we see a rally. That's something that's starting to break down, as we can see, with us pushing against this oversold, and we keep pushing down into oversold territories. And I don't necessarily think it's going to stop in the next couple of days. We'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'm okay with whichever direction the market goes, as I've laid out before, but we're definitely going to see what happens there. But anyway, let's move on to Ethereum and talk about some things on the Ethereum chart. Ethereum is another interesting one because, I mean, pretty much the entire cryptocurrency market has been trending downwards in the last couple of weeks, and really about the last 2 months. And a lot of cryptocurrencies have broken very important levels of support, but Ethereum hasn't actually. Ethereum is approaching a very important level of support on its Ethereum over US dollar chart anyway. As we can see right here, this $380 to $400 region on Ethereum is a very important level of support, as we had a double top back here. We had support on it once and support on it twice, and right now we're under a downtrend and coming up to approach it again. If we can get a bounce here in the next couple of days, if the cryptocurrency markets bounce and Ethereum sets this as another touch on this level of support and sets a double bottom here, that would be a very good thing to see. What we could potentially end up seeing here is something like a W formation with a more gradual uptrend as the cryptocurrency markets hopefully start to recover. That's something I'm looking out for. I'm also looking for it to actually get a bounce soon, because it's also getting into that oversold region on its RSI, but that's the same deal with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's oversold on its RSI, and I'm not totally convinced it's about to get a bounce or not, but it is still under this downtrend. That's something to keep in mind. Let's move on to Ethereum over BTC. Ethereum over BTC does have some important support down here around 5.6 million, 5.5 million Satoshis. We're nowhere near it right now. Right now, we're kind of in a trading channel, as you can see right here. You could call that a trading channel or a wedge. It's kind of in that gray area where it can really be called either. That's basically a downwards trading channel. We're under a downtrend of resistance here, and it looks like we may be coming down here to test this level of support. Just like on Ethereum over US dollar, we are overextended on the RSI, or we're getting close to it anyway. This level is drawn with support back here at around 5.5, 5.7 million Satoshis. We have a touch here, here, and back over here we have a couple of touches as well. Let's move on to XRP over BTC. A little while ago, about a week ago, actually, I posted a video. I don't remember what video it was, but I pointed out this consolidation pattern that XRP is in. This consolidation pattern that XRP is in has been a long time in the making, and XRP has been consolidating like this ever since early 2018, actually. We can see the downtrend right here has 3 levels of support, three levels of resistance, excuse me, and 2 levels of support, which is definitely a consolidation pattern, and it broke bearish out of it. Most of the cryptocurrency market has been breaking bearish out of important patterns. We're going to see that on some other cryptos like NEO and almost EOS in just a little bit. But the next real level of support that XRP is showing for us is this level down here around 7,200 to 7,000 Satoshis. That's where I'm looking for XRP to pull back to. XRP, there's a lot of, I'm not going to weigh in on it. There's a lot of controversy in XRP. But the fact of the matter is, guys, XRP does actually have a functional system. It does actually have a use case, and it does actually have a market that it can actually bring its product to. Whether or not that affects the price action, whether or not you agree with the governance is a completely different story, but XRP does look to have a future. At least the Ripple protocols that they're building do anyway. Now, whether or not XRP is going to follow the development of those is another question entirely. There is one thing that I meant to mention on some of these charts that I'm going to go back and mention, and that would be the moving averages. I didn't bring these up in the last video, but I want to show them in this video because something fascinating is happening on pretty much every single chart right now. When you are in a very bullish market, we'll go over here to Bitcoin for an example. When you're in a very bullish market that's been bullish for a while, what you see is you see the shortest term moving averages on top and the longest term moving averages on the bottom. If we take the 21-day moving average away, then we can see for basically a year and a half in Bitcoin, that's exactly how the moving averages were lined up. This top one's the 50-day, 100-day, 200-day. They were all lined up and they were very bullish. As we can see, they've been switching. And now it's the 200-day, the 100-day, and the 50-day, and the 21-day below it. That does signal a bearish market that's been bearish for quite a while. And we're seeing that trend start to play out on some of the other markets. As we can see, the 100-day is about to pass the 50-day here on Ethereum. And by that token, if that does happen, when it does happen at this point, it's going to happen, then we're going to see those line up in like that. One thing that I also forgot to mention on Ethereum is that Ethereum is also under resistance at the 21-day moving average, which is also lining up with this downtrend. The same pattern is present on Bitcoin. But we're also seeing this pattern of the moving averages line up like that on XRP. There's about to be a cross between the 50 and the 100-day moving average here on XRP. As you can see, actually it just happened yesterday. And as we can see, the 200-day moving average on XRP over BTC is on top, then the 100-day, then the 50-day, then the 21-day moving average. That's something to keep in mind. That definitely does show that we've been in a bear market for a while, which is obvious anyway. We also see this on Litecoin over US dollar. Just like with Ethereum and Bitcoin, Litecoin has been breaking some very important levels of support, and it is also under its 21-day moving average, and is going to be getting resistance on it in the next couple of days and the next couple of weeks as hopefully we try and see a recovery. Litecoin, one thing to keep in mind with Litecoin is that Litecoin has broken a very, very, very important level of support that it had here at about exactly $110. Right here at around $110, Litecoin had some very, very strong support. We had a double bottom over here, and then we had a double bottom again, and these two double bottoms made another double bottom. I made a video about that a long time ago, but we did actually break below that, and Litecoin is back down to close to $70. That is ridiculous. Now, I'm not really buying too much Litecoin right now. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I'm not really buying too much Litecoin right now because one of the problems that has really been coming to light over the last 6 months with Litecoin is that Litecoin, it moves with Bitcoin quite a bit. And one of the reasons for that is that Litecoin has trouble differentiating itself from Bitcoin. There's a lot of other transactional cryptocurrencies that are designed to actually be currencies rather than some kind of protocol that do similar things to what Litecoin does, but they do it more efficiently. They do it better. You have Nano, you have Monero, you have a lot of these other cryptocurrencies, not necessarily Monero, but there are a lot of other cryptocurrencies that are much better at being a transactional currency than Litecoin is. So I'm not as bullish on Litecoin as I used to be, and it breaking below this level of support definitely doesn't help that, although the entire market crashing pushed it below there as well. Litecoin over Bitcoin, we had the same story. It had a very important level of support here, and now we're breaking below that. We're also under the 21-day moving average here as well. NEO over Bitcoin is something that is very concerning to me because NEO has dropped nearly a third of its valuation in just the last couple of weeks. As we can see, it was up here around 700,000 Satoshis, and now it's down here around 470,000 Satoshis. We had a very strong little double bottom going here, and unfortunately, just like with Litecoin, we broke that very important level of support, and we're actually just kind of in free fall right now. There's not a very clear level of support below us, except for down here around 350,000 Satoshis and potentially 200,000 Satoshis all the way down here. We'll see if NEO falls all the way down there. Speaking of protocol coins, let's move over to EOS. And one of the things with EOS is that it hasn't actually broken a very important level of support definitively yet. It does have some key support here at about 1.2 to 1.3 million Satoshis. If it can stay above that, that'll be great. We did not see the rally with EOS that we thought we might see after its mainnet launch. The mainnet launch was a fiasco. There's a lot of problems with its governance system right now. There are calls for a do-over because of recent freezing of accounts by the actual block producers in their delegated proof of stake system. EOS is going through a lot of turbulence right now. If it can make it through that, and if it does actually resolve a lot of these issues that it's having, I think EOS will have a bright future ahead of it. But for the short term, if it breaks below this level of support, I'm looking for it to come down here and test this uptrend that has been influential on EOS basically since its inception back here in October of 2017. That's what I'm looking for EOS to do at this point. It's basically in free fall, just like the rest of the cryptocurrencies are. That's pretty much all the technical analysis I wanted to do for today's video. So let's go ahead and move on to the one little bit of news that we have here. This is on Cointelegraph by Marie Huillet. Facebook reverses ban on cryptocurrency ads, maintains ban on ICOs. You guys have probably heard about this. Facebook is a gigantic social media platform. I know you guys have all heard of Facebook. There's like 1.2 billion registered users. That's like every person that lives in China is registered on Facebook. Not really, but the population's about the same. Facebook has the population of China, is what I was trying to say. But anyway, Facebook has updated its policy to allow cryptocurrencies to once again be advertised while upholding its ban on the promotions of ICOs. Now, this happened a little while ago. I think this article dives into the... Actually, this is another article I was reading. Facebook, back earlier in the year, it intentionally made a very, very broad ban on basically every kind of advertising relating to cryptocurrency. And while this was probably in the best interest of Facebook, because I think they want to get in on cryptocurrency, there's been some rumors recently of Facebook trying to acquire Coinbase. Now, whether or not that's going to happen, who knows? They're not a publicly traded company, so the people behind Coinbase would actually have to consent to that. But Facebook probably does want to get in on cryptocurrency. So sure, they have their own motivations for wanting to ban crypto ads because they don't want to help any of the other crypto ads or any of the other cryptocurrencies actually get a foothold before they can. Not that anyone can really compete with Facebook, but you get my point. But they do actually have a valid reason for doing this. There is a lot of scams in the cryptocurrency market, guys. You guys have to be very, very careful when you're trading crypto and when you're investing in ICOs. You have to be very, very careful putting information anywhere. There is a lot of scams here. This is the Wild West. There's basically no regulation still. We're talking about how we want regulatory clarity to come into the space so that people are more comfortable buying into the space and more comfortable investing into the space. But it simply hasn't really happened yet. There's all kinds of scams. Guys, I get sponsorship offers. I'm not going to name any names, but I get sponsorship offers all the time from what amount to scam ICOs. And I'm not going to put that on the channel, but they would be willing to put that on a Facebook ad. And someone that doesn't know any better could very well click on it and very well lose their money. Or if they're a little bit more into cryptocurrency, they might put in their private key and lose their private key because they don't know what they're doing or whatever. So I'm not necessarily going to bash Facebook for banning ICO ads. Cryptocurrency ads, on the other hand, is a little bit different. If it's just a straight up cryptocurrency that's not going through ICO and it's not obviously a malicious advertisement, then that's a little bit different. And Facebook seems to agree because they're pulling back some of the restrictions that they had on cryptocurrency advertising. You guys can read this full article at Cointelegraph.com. I'm not going to have it in the description, but you guys can easily find it. Just type in this headline and you'll find this. It'll take you 2 seconds. But anyway, guys, that's mostly what I wanted to talk about in today's video. I wanted to lay out the market. I wanted to talk about the market, do some market updates on some of the smaller cryptocurrencies that I don't get to do technical analysis on that often. And I also want to talk about this because, like I've said, Facebook does have a good reason to have a ban on ICOs. They don't want their users getting scammed. I can't blame them for that. But at the same time, it would be nice to, and it is nice to see that Facebook is lifting some of these regulations and some of these restrictions that they had on advertising for cryptocurrencies, because this is definitely going to help. This is definitely going to help get awareness out for cryptocurrencies. Advertising is one of the greatest ways to raise awareness. It's the way to raise awareness if you're using money for it. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But anyway, guys, like I said, that's going to do it for this video. I wanted to cover the market, show you what I think about the market, but that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like and hit that subscribe button. We do cryptocurrency videos every single day. Make sure to tell me in the comments section down below what coins you would like to see technical analysis done on next week. Send me news articles, do whatever you want. Tell me in the comments section down below. You can also feel free to join the Discord server if you're interested. There's a link to do so down in the description down below. If you guys are looking for a cryptocurrency exchange, I highly recommend signing up for Binance. There's a link to do so with the link down below. If you use the link down below, you'll be helping to support the channel, and you'll also be getting access to a phenomenal cryptocurrency exchange that is Binance. It'll take you 2 seconds. You guys can go ahead and sign up, look around, see if you like the exchange. If you don't, never log in again. That's fine, but there's no reason not to give it a try. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.